Holy moly, that's a good sausage. Chicken mole is a very popular dish that uses dried chilies, nuts, and some fruits even. And our special ingredient, which is also common, is dark chocolate. We're going to combine all these to make a really rich, beautiful sauce, which we're going to mix into our meat block to make a delicious smoked sausage. This chicken mole sausage is going to be a really unique and cool sausage that you can try at home if you follow these steps. To elevate the flavors of our chicken mole smoked sausage, we're going to be using our El Jefe taco rub and sauce to bolster those flavors. First thing we need to do for our chicken mole sausage is make the mole sauce. Mole sauce is pretty classic Mexican style sauce that has a lot of different really unique ingredients. A base flavor of a mole sauce is the chilies. So we have a good amount of dried chilies which we're going to toast off and then rehydrate to make our sauce. We also have pepitas, almonds, raisins, a ton of coriander, and sesame seeds. These are all going to get toasted off and then steeped together to start building our flavors and our sauce. Once it's all nice and soft, we'll blend it up and strain it through a fine mesh strainer, and we'll have our mole sauce. And to build on our flavor even more, we're going to be using our El Jefe sauce and seasoning in both forms to build our sauce and our flavor profile. The adobo flavors in our El Jefe seasoning and sauce are really going to complement the flavor profile that we've already built with our chilies and nuts. And the honey will kind of give it that classic sweetness because mole generally has a little bit of sweet on top of the heat. Before we toast off our chilies, we're going to be removing all the seeds. And if you have some gloves, I highly suggest it, just so you don't get that capsaicin stuck on your fingers, because those oils do start coming out pretty easily. And then if you rub your face, your eyes, or anything like that, you're going to be in a lot of pain. Over medium-low heat, we're just going to dry toast these in the saute pan. And then once those smells and you can start seeing that they're nice and toasted, we're going to add them to this steeping liquid and move forward with toasting the rest of our ingredients. And while this is happening, I'm also going to start chopping our onion and getting our garlic ready as well. We're looking pretty nice and toasted here, so I'm going to get these right into our steeping liquid. I'm going to turn our steeping liquid down and I'm going to move forward with our pepitas and our almonds. These should toast at pretty much the same rate, so we can do these two together. And the onion can be just a nice rough chop here. It doesn't have to be super fine or anything, because this will get a light saute and then it'll go into our steeping liquid with our chilies and all get blended up, all go into the same place. Our pepitas and our almonds are nice and toasted off, so in they go to the steeping liquid. Next, we're going to do our sesame seeds. And these should go pretty quick. You want to watch these pretty carefully because they will burn. All right, toasted sesame seeds are done into the steeping liquid. Now we're going to go in with our coriander seeds and our raisins. Last thing we have to toast off are our tortillas, and these are designed to help give our sauce a little bit of thickness and a little bit of body. But we want all that toasted flavor built into our sauce, many different layers, so we're going to toast these as well. And one of the reasons why we do the tortillas last is because any oils that are deposited from our seeds or our chilies, they come out and land in the pan, right? So we put these tortillas and it'll soak up those oils, layering every ounce and little bit of flavor that we can back into our sauce. For the onion, we're going to add a little bit of oil to our pan and saute them up. And a rough chop on the garlic is just fine. Only going to saute that for about 2 or 3 minutes before we add our garlic. And then about 1 more minute here on the saute and we'll be ready to add this to our steeping liquid. We're going to let this steep for about 20 minutes. We want these chilies to be nice and soft, so that when we blend them up, we get as much flavor out of them as possible. Now here's where we get a little bit messy. We need to take all of our steeped items here and get them into the blender so that we can puree them. Then we've got to strain it so we get all those fibrous particles out because we want a nice, smooth, rich sauce. So we're gonna start getting this out. Chilies and all the seasonings, we want everything. We're gonna blend it all together. And now, to help this move a little bit, we're gonna add some of that steeping liquid as well. Now when you're blending hot liquid, you wanna be really careful because hot liquid wants to expand as soon as you start agitating it in the blender. So I can take the top off here to let that air escape while I blend. But if you don't, just keep the side cracked just a touch until you know things are running smoothly. And away we go. And once it's as smooth as you think it's gonna get, we'll pour this through the strainer. And what you're gonna have to do is pour a little bit in, and then use a spatula to work it through. Because those fibrous pieces, all that skin from the chilies is gonna gunk up the strainer, but we want to get all those out of there. Now considering we haven't added any yet, this definitely needs some salt. So I'm gonna start off with a few tablespoons of El Jefe seasoning. And we're gonna give it a few minutes to meld and develop, and then we'll add our chocolate. Now we're gonna add just a few ounces of chocolate. Break it up, and it should melt in there nicely. Now this is a dark chocolate because you want that real nice bitter cocoa flavor because we'll be adding our own sugar to taste. And lastly, I'm gonna add some brown sugar just to cut the bitterness a little bit. I don't wanna sweeten up the sauce too much, but I wanna give a hint. Now I obviously have to cool this down before I put it into our sausage. So I'm gonna put it in a pan here that'll give it a good amount of surface area to cool down quicker. And I'll set this in the fridge. And while it's cooling, I can get started on grinding my meat. While our sauce is cooling, I'm gonna start trimming up our chicken and getting it ready for the grinder. For our sausage, I'm going to be using a chicken thigh. Chicken breast can get tough and a little dry, so we're gonna go with the thighs that have a much nicer fat content. And all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna trim them up a little bit, pulling out the tendon from the back side. That can turn into gristle. But everything else on this, all this fat here, I'm gonna leave that in. That's just layering on the flavor. I've got all of our chicken trimmed up, at least taking those tendons out, and now I'm ready to grind. The great thing about chicken sausage is you generally only need one grind. So we have it set up here with our 3/16 inch plate, and we're ready to go ahead and get our meat block ready for the seasonings. So I did have the grinded parts in the freezer for a little bit, as well as this chicken right before we grind here. Yeah, see with that one grind, we're looking really good. You only need to grind once because the density of chicken is a lot different than pork and beef. It's a lot more tender and it breaks down a lot easier. So the one grind gets us where we need to be. And instead of ice, I'm gonna use a little bit of bread to force out the rest of the meat from the auger, and we'll be ready to start mixing in our seasonings. We ended up with a 9-pound meat block. And what we're gonna do to season our meat block is go half of our mole sauce and half of El Jefe rub to get a really well-rounded, savory, sweet chili flavor. One thing we want to make sure we measure out specifically is our pink cure. Our pink cure is going to help us avoid any food safety issues, and it's going to give us a salt level and that classic red color for our final smoked sausage. With a 9-pound meat block, that means we need about 10 grams of pink cure. Pink cure or speed cure is used at the rate of 1 ounce per 25. So you just need to do the math on that. And it's always best to add this to some sort of liquid to help disperse it throughout the meat block really well. So I'm just gonna add it to our mole sauce and stir it in. First we'll go in with our El Jefe seasoning. And then we'll pour in our mole sauce. We wanna get all that in there because remember it has our cure in there and we wanna make sure we get the right amount for our meat block size. All right, our protein extraction is pretty good at this point. It's gonna develop a little faster on chicken in the mixing process just because it's a lot more moisture and the nature of the protein is a little different than beef or pork. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna break off a little piece and I'm gonna taste before I case to make sure that our salt levels, our sweetness is all in line. Everything tasted good, so we're ready to case up our sausage and get them drying overnight. First thing we need to do is load up the hopper, and just like any other sausage, we're gonna start in the center of the hopper here, start working the meat out towards the walls, and this will help us avoid any air pockets. I've had these casings soaking, basically just followed the directions on the packaging, and now they are nice and pliable, should be rinsed really well. I'm gonna find the end here, pull a little bit more water through, give it a final rinse, and that'll also help it untangle as we pull it out and help lube up the horn as it gets threaded on. So I'm just gonna go for a normal kind of bratwurst size here. Normal. Pinch. Pinch, twist. And now, just like before with our other sausages, we are going to set these on a sheet tray and we're gonna let them sit in the fridge overnight. Now what that's gonna do is two things. It's gonna help our flavors and our cure develop on the meat. And then second, it's gonna dry out our casings. When we dry out the casings, we form that pellicle, which is that thin layer of protein. It makes a kind of sticky surface on the outside of the sausage, but that really helps with smoke absorption and even cooking. If these are still wet, it's gonna be a mess of a cook tomorrow, so we wanna dry them out as best as possible. So till tomorrow, smoking day. After about 16 hours in the fridge, our casings have dried out just a little bit, which is really ideal for smoking. And now I have our smoker preheated to 120 degrees for the first stage of our smoke cycle. Once I have our sausages hanging on our smoke sticks, I'm gonna run them in the smoker at about 120 degrees for an hour. At which point I will increase the temperature of the smokehouse by 10 degrees every hour until we max out at a temperature of 180 degrees inside the smokehouse. And what we're looking for is a slow progression of heat to slowly cook these sausages so we don't get any fat bleed out or anything like that, which would cause dryness. And then, once these sausages reach an internal temperature of 160 degrees, we're gonna pull them and we'll cool them down so we can try them. And here we have our final product. After hitting an internal temperature of 160 degrees, we pulled our sausage, and then I let them rest at room temperature for about a half an hour. That resting at room temperature will just slowly start to bring them down to temperature before I set them in the fridge. And these sat in the fridge overnight to fully cool. Now we're ready to break them down a little bit, and I'm gonna throw some on the grill so we can finally taste our sausage. And when I break these down, I'm gonna cut really close to the sausage so I can get rid of that little piece of twisted up casing because nobody wants to eat that by itself. And once these are all broken down, they'll be ready for the grill. Grilled off our sausages and I plated them up. And now I'm just gonna finish it off in kind of a typical fashion. I laid them out with some of our extra mole sauce, and we'll garnish with some toasted sesame seeds. Now I obviously saved one sausage without, just so I could taste the sausage by itself, and that's what I get to do right now. So I will say one thing, these smell wonderful. You can see the particle separation, a little bit of fat in there, so these should be really nice and juicy. Moment of truth. That is incredible. I like how the dried chilies, the fresh mole sauce that we made and incorporated into our meat block, you can tell it's in there. You can tell that scratch-made sauce is in there. But the El Jefe, the sweetness of that honey adobo, bringing those flavors to the top, and there's just enough fat content in here to make it nice and juicy, and the smoke flavor elevating all the flavors, just absolutely delicious. I'm very happy with the way this turned out. It was a really cool and unique sausage that if you get the opportunity to make this, I highly suggest it. chicken sausage is very underrated if you ask me. Smoked one, even better. We've got some flour tortillas and some hungry coworkers who are absolutely going to devour these. If you like the video, click subscribe. You can also check us out on all forms of social media. And if you like this recipe, head to psseasoning.com for more information about all the products used. Until next time, I'm Chef Jed. Thanks for watching.